When we got through and the chance to take Everton as a football club back to Wembley was really big, because it was a culmination of, you know, wanting to be in Europe, wanting to finish in the Champions League, wanting to be in cup finals, and to get to the FA Cup final would have been something which we could only dream about. But in our way was only probably the best club side in Europe, and probably the best club side in British football around that period. So we went to Wembley, where I remember us going down the day before and getting ready for it. And we were in the Grove Hotel in just outside Wembley at Watford. And as always, you know, there's a bit of nerves. We're picking the team. And we had worked quite hard in preparing the players, and we had also talked about the penalty kicks, you know, just in case this goes to penalty kicks, you know, who are we doing, what we're doing. And we did, we were thorough, in the hope that if we ever got to penalty kicks, then we would try and be good at it. If we didn't get there, well, there was no harm lost. So we did, we prepared. We get a bit lucky. I think we were a bit fortunate. It could have been a penalty on, and I think it was Welbeck in the first half. But we play fine. We do quite well in the game. I think Darren Gibson was playing for Manchester United on that day as well. And it gets to penalty kicks, and as it was, our preparation probably in the end helped us. And I remember getting into the ground, and the players get on the pitch early, and I said to a few of them, "You should go out there just now." And it was all Everton supporters.
The defining moment for me was ITV said, "Will you do an interview?" And I thought, "Oh no, I don't." I said, "I'm too nervous." And they said, "Oh," it was Gabe Clark, and he said, "Come on, it's your big day at Wembley. It's the clubs, it's the fans." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Okay, I'll see you at pitch side." And I said, "You what?" And he said, "I'll see you at pitch side." I said, "I can't go down the pitch. I can't go on the Wembley turf. I can't. That's not what I am." And he said, "Well, you've got to, because that's where we're doing the interviews." So I went, and Manchester United fans are singing a song, and I don't know what the song is. Is it their song? They're singing a song, so it's obviously their song, and I got no idea what it is. And they stop, and suddenly our lot stops. And you go, right. And I'm standing on the pitch, and I'm thinking, this is just, if you want to take me now.
And I walked out there, and it was incredible. You know, just a sea of blue and a sea of red. And I can remember, I finished my warm-up and I went inside, and I can remember people going, "Did you hear that?" I said, "What? I've been inside." And the Evertonians were singing a song, and I can't remember exactly what they were singing, but maybe it's a grand old team or something. And and people who I didn't think would be in awe of that said, "Oh my God, you've got to hear it."
I remember thinking, "Oh my goodness, look at it! It was magnificent." They inspired us all, and you know, Phil Neville by this time was inspirational in his leadership, in the way he sort of motivated the players as well, and you know, we had, you know, people coming into the club at that time. Phil Jagielka was really important, and Leighton Baines was beginning to develop. So we had some really top players in the side then.
There's two things I remember about that, the build-up to that week, because obviously the Evertonians going back to Wembley, that was a massive thing. Playing at Wembley in a semi-final against Man United was a massive thing. But I never forget, I think it was the Tuesday before, the boss gave probably one of his best team meetings that I've ever experienced him give. Virtually, he said to us, "I want you to go out there and I want you to attack Man United. You don't often get to semi-finals, so we're not going to go there, we're not going to sit back, we're not going to try and contain Man United. You can't contain Man United, we're going to go there and attack."
He doesn't say much before a game. We all share a look, but a few words. And he came over to me and he said, "We're ready, Bill." So we were.
Well, if you're a professional footballer, these are the games that you want to play in. A sunny day and Wembley Stadium. What drama will there be today? Game forward to Fellaini. Does well that time, Fellaini. Has Saha. Lays it off this time to Cahill. Tim Cahill for Everton. Tries a shot and it breaks away from Foster. And Everton's best moment of the game so far, and we've had 8 minutes of the second half. Cahill did really well. Tim Cahill, Foster saves. Well, Everton's best moment for quite some time that. It was a lovely piece of play by Tim Cahill. Ricochet to Baines. Baines turns it back. Chance here. Oh! It was an opportunity for James Vaughan. There is no question about it. And probably the best chance of the whole game. So, after 120 minutes of play, the two teams can't be separated. And we're going to a penalty shootout.
Well, I think when you go to penalty kicks, I think you actually have to take the inevitable approach. You know, if you lose to penalty kicks, that's the way football goes. At the moment, there isn't another solution to changing it. And in a way, the players are probably knackered. They've not got nothing left in them. The players have given their all for 120 minutes. The game has to be concluded one way or the other, so it goes to penalties. So Tim puts it over the bar and you're thinking, oh, well, maybe it's not our day.
It's Cahill against Foster. First penalty, and he's blasted it over. Berbatov then against Howard. And it's saved by Tim Howard. He tried to be too clever. There's Baines. Scores. Ferdinand against Howard. And he saved it. Tim Howard has saved it. Everton lead by a goal to nil.
Me personally, I'd been practicing penalties since we'd beaten Middlesbrough about 3 weeks before. I knew it was going to be a tight game. I knew that it might come to the point where I might have to take a penalty. And the boss was doing the penalty list, and as captain I thought, I've prepared for this, I know what I'm going to do. I was confident. I said, right, I'll take one. And he kept ignoring me. I said, I'll take one, boss. And he kept looking round at Ozzy and Ibo and Jags and Felly. Yeah, boss, I'll take one. And he ignored me again, and I thought to myself, I don't think he wants me to take one here. And then Steve Brown went, Phil Nev's on 3. And I went, yeah, I'll take 3. And still the boss didn't accept that I was taking the third penalty. Maybe he'd seen me practice, I don't know, but I felt really confident. And that was like a joke moment. And all the lads went into the centre circle, and we actually had a real laugh. It was so relaxed. We knew we didn't have anything to lose. And for me, that was probably up there with probably my finest moments in an Everton jersey.
Well, he'd been practicing it. We'd all been practicing him for a while, and he'd just been practicing pretty much that one penalty, you know. So I was quite confident in him because I'd seen him do it enough times in training, and he was good at it. So, you know, I always felt that he had a good chance, as good a chance as any of scoring, even if he didn't.
Here comes Phil Neville. He shoots and he scores. Phil Neville for Everton. Ooh, he sent it in off the upright. James Vaughan for Everton. Scores. Well done, James Vaughan. Anderson then against Howard. Scores. If Phil Jagielka scores this, Everton are through to the FA Cup final. Imagine how Phil Jagielka feels. Here he comes. He's got a blast and he scored. And Everton are through to the FA Cup final. They've done it. Incredible stuff. Phil Jagielka kept his cool, and Everton are through to the final. An unbridled joy on the pitch, on the terraces, everywhere else. Tim Howard is the hero. Just look at the reaction on his face. And a broad smile from David Moyes as he hugs his captain, Phil Neville, who also scored one of the penalties. Here's the crucial penalty, beautifully taken by Phil Jagielka, and that's the reaction on the terraces. Well, they've done it.
When the winner went in, well, you can't, you know. No matter what happens in your life, no matter the downs, and there's been a lot of them for me, the ups, that moment when your team do something, hit the back of the net, you just can't describe it. So what we're doing is, we are going mental. Why? Because we're back at Wembley and we're there, and you think, so it was just the best. It was just the best experience.
I think for the initial part, I was maybe just a little bit stunned, to be honest, and it just, I can't remember really reacting that much. I was just sort of, like I say, just quite stunned by it, and sort of you're trying to take it in, but it's all too soon really, and you know, just trying to celebrate then afterwards with with the rest of the lads and just enjoy the moment.
Luckily, I didn't manage to take a penalty because I was really nervous. You know, we got through with a pen from Jags, and you know, it was just a great atmosphere in the change rooms after the game, and you know, the whole night was just a dream for me.
I'd learnt from my mistakes from the Arsenal game when we won we qualified for the Champions League. I decided we'll have a few glasses of champagne and that's it, and we'll train the next morning. And we did, and there was a nice private lounge for us. We sat with a few glasses of champagne, and you know, we really enjoyed it. It was one of the best times with the players because very rarely do you get a chance to sort of enjoy that moment. You know, be able to pat them in the back and say how well they'd done.
It was a special day for him. It was a proud moment. Again, he didn't do anything different. He stood up there, you know, addressed the team, motivated us, set us out to play a really good game. He, you know, stuck his chest out on a touchline and gave instructions and made sure that the moment wasn't too big for any of us. And you know, he did a fabulous job. And I know how special it was to all of us. And I can only imagine what he's like. He doesn't give. David Moyes doesn't give you too much in the way of his thoughts, you know, and that's what makes him so special. You know, he's very cool and he's calm, and but I can only imagine deep down inside that it was it meant the world.